Hello everybody, I'd like to welcome you to this lesson titled Absolute Value. Before we begin, I want you to get out your math journal, math book, turn to page 69 in your math book, and also a pencil. So a couple things we're going to talk about today. The goals for the video is for you to recognize the absolute value of a number as its distance from zero on the number line, and then also interpret absolute value as magnitude for a positive or negative quantity in a real-world situation. So a couple things that we want to talk about at the beginning. So we can see down here at the bottom of page 69, the absolute value of a number is the distance of that number from zero on a number line. Okay, so make sure you understand that. That's a really important part of absolute value. It's the distance from zero on a number line. You want to write that down in your notes there. Something else you need to understand, since distances are always positive, the absolute value of a positive or negative number is always going to be positive. Okay, so understand that as well. So, for example, if I ask you how far you live from Springhouse, you would not say I live negative 10 miles from Springhouse. You would say I live about 10 miles from Springhouse. Okay, so understand also that absolute value bars are used to show the absolute value of a number. So if we're talking about absolute value, and you see those bars just down here, so we have write the absolute value of -5. Those bars represent absolute value. So absolute value of -5 would be 5. Why is that? Because 5, we can see at the top here, -5 is 5 units away from 0 on a number line. The absolute value of +5 is also 5 as well. Okay, so we have the absolute value bars around the 5 asking us the absolute value of 5. That's 5 as well. So you can see, no matter if it's a positive or negative number, the absolute value of a number is always going to be positive because it always talks about the distance that number is from 0 on a number line. Now let's go to page 70 where it says the try. It says practice writing the absolute value of a number. All right, you can use a number line to find the absolute value of the following numbers. So we can see these bars around the number represent absolute value. So we have -10. What's the absolute value of -10? Let's take a look at it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spaces away from 0 on the number line, or 10 units. So absolute value of -10 is 10. Now let's look at absolute value of +3. So let's erase this here. So we can see absolute value of +3. Start at our 3 on the number line. 1, 2, 3 spaces away from 0 on the number line. That is 3 as well. So you can see no matter if we had to go to the right or go to the left on the number line, absolute value is always positive. Taking a look at number 6, what's the absolute value of 0? Pretty simple. That's 0 as well. All right, so key tip here, whenever you see these bars around a number, you just either take that negative number off and rewrite the number without the negative symbol, or if there's not a negative symbol, you just write the number below for absolute value. Remember, absolute value is the distance a number is away from 0 on a number line. Let's take a look at some larger numbers. Still same idea, nothing changes, even though we are dealing with larger numbers now. So -23, absolute value is 23, because -23 is 23 units to the left of 0 on the number line. Number 9, -38. Absolute value is 38. And finally, number 12, 506. We know they're asking for absolute value because these bars around the number. Absolute value of 506 is 506. Now let's jump over to page 72, and we're going to take a look at practicing using absolute values to interpret real-world situations. So let's take a look at number 1 there at the top. It says Miss Parker withdrew $20 from her bank account on Monday, and she withdrew $40 on Wednesday. Then it says on Saturday she deposited, which means you put money into your bank account, which is always helpful. $150 in the bank account. Miss Parker wrote -20 to represent the amount she withdrew on Monday. What number should she use to represent the other amounts given above? Now we can see the amount Miss Parker withdrew on Wednesday is -40. Okay, why is that? Because we have $40 that she withdrew, and that could be represented as -40 because it's being taken out of the checking account. Now, as far as the amount she deposited on Saturday, that could be represented, we can see $150. That's represented with 150. So those are the numbers that could represent the other amounts that Miss Parker was dealing with her bank account. Okay, now the next question, number 2, says Mr. Cooper had -$200, Mr. Perez had $180, and Miss Wilson had -$190 in their bank accounts. Just a public service announcement. It's never okay to have negative money in your bank account. So, taking a look at who has the most money in the bank account. So we can see -$200, $180, or $190. So we can see that Mr. Perez has the most money in his bank account. And I would like for you to write that right in your book under where it says page 2. Now what I would like for you to do is take a look at number 3. I want you to pause the video, answer A and B on your own, and then when you're finished you can press play and I'll have the answers for you. So I'd like you to work through this problem on page 72. I'd like for you to pause the video now. So let's take a look at number 3. It says at a parking garage you can park underground or above ground. The lowest part of the underground parking is 40 feet below ground level. The highest part of the parking garage is 20 feet above ground level. Below and above are the key terms here. The limousine parking area is 23 below ground level, 23 feet. It says use positive and negative numbers to represent the locations of the 3 different parts of the parking garage with respect to ground level. Now understand, ground level would be considered 0 on a number line. So we can see lowest part of the garage, -40 feet. Why is that? 40 feet below ground level, the word below means it's going to be represented with a negative number. Highest part of garage, 20 feet. Why is that? Just regular 20 feet, positive 20, it's 20 feet above ground level. Limousine parking area, -23 feet. Why -23 feet? Because it's 23 feet below. So below gives it that negative number there. Now let's think about which part of the parking garage is closest to ground level. So we need to think about which of these numbers would be closest to 0 on the number line. So we can see the part that's closest to ground level would be the highest part of the garage. Okay, why is that? It's 20 feet above ground level. All right, so the absolute value of that would be 20. Absolute value of 23 feet below ground level, representative -23, would be 23. So we can see that the highest part of the garage is closest to ground level. So this concludes the video on absolute value. If you have any questions about this concept, please come and see me.